Yeah, Tuesday, guys. You know what that means. It is another episode of the PD Skillz Show. This is episode 9. Our guest this week is a man who lives by the mantra, wrestling is life, life is wrestling. If you love wrestling, give it up for the one and only Elian Habanero. Welcome to the show, brother.
Cuba, it's me. Oh, man, I've been waiting to do it. I'm excited. I'm happy for you doing a show finally, and I'm glad to be here. This is going to be fun, man.
Absolutely, man. I've actually really been looking forward to it. I mean, in all the years that we've actually known each other, aside from the busyness of show days and then, you know, the odd chit chat like here and there, if a common topic comes up on Facebook, we haven't actually really ever got the chance to sit down and just, you know, shoot shit, chat and, you know, see what's up. So it's really nice. I mean, aside from the hi, buys, how you been? I mean, we usually don't have a whole lot of time for anything. So.
But we always did have, like, I think I met you in 2004 probably would be the earliest. Probably PWX. And we always had a lot in common, both like the same music. We were both into smoking. We both loved wrestling and like putting our bodies on the line, like that type of wrestling.
Yeah, being as stupid as we possibly can with our bodies.
Well, there was always that respect there. And I always had love for you. And I felt like you gave it back to me too. I always felt like we had a good connection.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's the guys that you were one of the guys when I first started. You know, I know you're a couple years ahead of me, I believe, and you know, you were you know, really welcoming in a world that necessarily doesn't welcome everybody. So, and I mean, that's, you know, one of your winning traits. And I mean, for anybody out there listening, that's the great thing about Elian Habanero is he doesn't just love wrestling, he loves the people of wrestling. So that's something I always appreciate you, brother.
I always worry about that. But I just because how people have treated me, so I don't ever want to be that guy. Maybe I am to some people, but I hope it's like a small minority. And if it is, there's probably a reason, hopefully.
And to be honest, I think if there is, it's got to be a misunderstanding.
Probably.
Because that's why I say you don't just love wrestling, you love the people in wrestling, because a lot of people love wrestling, but are shit to the people. And you're someone that, you know, has always been, you know, nice in every encounter that at least I've seen, but I also haven't seen anybody ask for anything, you know, other than that. So
I think nowadays, because like I kind of changed my character around because my body was in so much pain. So I acted a little bit more silly where in personal level, I was always kind of quiet and shy. And just, you know, once I felt comfortable with someone, I'd open up with them. But I think a lot of people are like, oh, why isn't he not so nice backstage? And I'm like, I'm actually really quiet and shy. So I think maybe sometimes I rung people wrong that way. But like I always shake everybody's hands. If they're new, I'll shake their hand first, like whatever. Because, you know, when I started, not everybody was nice to me as well.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, it's nice to see that's not the case now. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there I see, like, you know, because I mean, you're very active online and everything. And, you know, you're always posting stuff. And a lot of people out there, a lot of young guys are always like, I want to wrestle Elian. I want to wrestle Elian. So, I mean, that's really cool to see that, you know, to see you get that respect and that, you know, a lot of people still want to get in there with you and, you know, do what we like to do.
Thanks. Yeah. And I appreciate them because it's so hard to stay relevant, especially in like such a small bubble we're in and we never really made mainstream. And like, I only wrestled for a couple different promotions. So I never really got out there to that level, but it took me a long time, but I feel like I'm somewhat relevant now.
Now, did you not get too far out there as far as the number of companies you work just because like the daily grind, like, you know, the family grind and everything, like it's just too much? Or
I think there was a lot of different things to it. One, like I said, I was really shy and I always, this is not advice for any wrestlers, by the way, but so I never wanted to reach out for a promotion because I didn't want to get turned down, like that kind of thing. I always wanted
I get it.
I
mean, it's not the best feeling, but I could get why avoiding that.
Yeah, I wanted to be asked, but like that doesn't work that way. So to anyone out there pushing, you got to push. So that was a bit of it. And then I was best friends with Eddie Osborne, and he got on all the shows and would just bring me along. So it was kind of easy for me. And then by 2006 or so, they were running twice a week. So I was like, oh, that's pretty lots of wrestling. So I never.
Yeah, PWA was hot for a long, long time. And I mean, still hot going in. I mean, 2 provinces. And then turning to 365 wrestling. I mean, obviously the pandemic pumped the brakes on a lot of people, but like they've been hot forever.
Yeah. And then as to your point, around 2008. And so that's when I had my kid, and then I became a single parent and a lot of injuries. So yeah, it just became much more scarce and not worth it as much unless it was close. And I don't drive, so that doesn't help. So
Yeah,
I
no,
always have to bum a
I
ride.
just learned that recently.
Yeah. So you'd have to have someone on the show, or if someone booked you, you'd be like, oh, can I get this guy booked so he can drive me? Otherwise, why would they want to drive you just to go watch? And
I've been
I
there.
would reach out.
I've been between spots, and throughout wrestling where I've been in between cars. Like I've even like when I first started with PWX there, when I'd first met you, I actually used to take a Greyhound to London and then get picked up in London.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man.
me and Dark Soul.
I couldn't believe it when, oh, Dark Soul. I haven't heard his name in a long time.
He lives in Australia now. He just built a house.
Really?
Yeah. He went out to Australia, got married. I feel like got divorced and moved on. I think maybe engaged and then got separated or whatever. But I mean, he's with this other girl that he met while he's in Australia. Seems like a great girl. He's really happy. Yeah, they built a house there.
Oh, that's neat. I love catching up with people that I haven't heard names of in a while. And
Yeah,
I always
man.
loved you at first because I always wanted to be the weed guy. Like before I became like Elian, I was a mask guy and I would come out to rap songs. But
yeah,
I was always envious of you because like that was my persona in real life, kind of.
You know what though? There came a point and you would have hit the same point too. Like, cause you're a good guy. You've got a fucking heart of gold. And I've come back to it now because we're in a spot where weed's legal. I'm trying to, normalize that where it's the same as beer. You got Stone Cold Steve Austin chugging beers. Why can't you have PD Skillz smoking blunts? Same fucking thing. But back then it was honestly a lot harder, and honestly a curse to me. I think it cost me a lot. And
I could see that. Yeah.
Because it was good at first and it got me over. But then there were some companies that wouldn't use me. And then there was the incident where I had I used to wear the weed bandanas. And then one day a kid came up to me and he's like, can I have one of your bandanas? And I was like, wait a second. This is back before things were legal. So I'm like, what am I teaching them right now? And that's when all the weed stuff actually disappeared from my gear. And then PD Skillz was just a name, not even a gimmick anymore for the longest time.
That's the craziest thing too, because weed is so much better for you than alcohol or cigarettes. But 100%. It's still gets frowned upon. Like it's still like the dirty stepchild of the three almost.
Yeah. Nobody reads newspaper reports about, oh, this guy smoked a big blunt and then went home and beat his wife. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's not a thing.
I'm glad that it's turning around though. And
yeah, 100%. I don't know how acceptable it will be in all circles. I mean, usually the United States seems to be a big lead for what's acceptable in a lot of as far as sports goes, like sports circles and stuff like that. And I mean, I know federally there it's still illegal, even though it's got legal status as state by state. But I mean, I think once they get to a federal status of legal or decriminalized or whatever they got to do, then that's when it's going to be much more acceptable as far as sports and media.
Yeah, and a lot of celebrities are jumping on it, so they're making it mainstream. Like I've seen
everybody's got a strand of weed.
Steve Urkel's selling weed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. So,
but I mean, Steve Urkel was late to the game because there was Purple Urkel before Urkel was in the game. So
really? Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah. He just got into the game, I think, in the last year at the earliest. And I mean, Purple Urkel's been a thing for years and years.
Because I'm like the guy on Grandma's Boy. I'm like, I don't care what it's called. Just give me a bag of weed, and if it's not good, I don't want that kind again, whatever that was called.
And you know what? That's how I was for the longest time, like growing up and all that. But then, as the internet ordering age rolled in, it's like, oh well, now it's not just going to my buddy's house and you got what you got. There's some names here and there's some selection. Now all of a sudden I care. But yeah, back then if I went to somebody's house, yeah, I got this. I'm like, do you have anything else? No, then I don't really care what it is.
Yeah, and it was back, people think it, but it's actually medicine too. And there's especially with people like us with injuries and concussions and stuff like that, there is certain things that people do it, casually as well, but it also can really help with CTE and just recovering from injuries I found over the years. So yeah, it's nice to delve into that. I just don't really have the time and barely have, the patience or the money, whatever.
You got to multitask.
Yeah.
Podcast and smoke. That's multitasking. And speaking actually of, podcasts, and I want to talk a little bit about something that was super impressive from you as far as internet presence, and that is wrestling is life, life is wrestling. A year.
Yeah. This is 4
An
years
episode
ago.
a day all year.
That's right.
That was absolutely insane. What gave you the idea, and what like kept you pushing through 365 days of the wrestling is life, life is wrestling, like, and fresh material every day?
Yeah, and well, because it was every day, some of the material was not the best. Like I ran out of stuff, but it was just basically stubbornness. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it and rise to the challenge. But I thought it'd be a good thing to start putting myself out there to more promotions. I felt like I was getting over, and it's different with the internet compared to when we started. Like now, people can see you and see all your matches. You can put clips up.
Yeah.
It's way easier. So I just was like, I need to do this. And also, I love wrestling so much, so I would like to be involved in the future. So I'm like, if I show I could talk, maybe I could get a job doing a podcast or make money off YouTube or be a backstage announcer or something like that. But I also wanted to do it for myself. It was like kind of like my diary of wrestling. So I talked about a lot of us personal stuff, not every episode, but like, and then it was also, I wanted to like put Ontario out there as a whole. And like, I did a promotion spotlight on every promotion and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I remember that like the promotion highlights, and that was sweet. Like, because you even put spotlight, and that's a testament to your selflessness, is you put spotlights on companies that you didn't work for that you could have, which is awesome.
But it wasn't just,
and
like,
some of them aren't even around anymore. So it was even a piece of history.
This is 4 years ago, and there was 35 promotions, and I feel like before COVID and stuff, there was probably close to 30 or 40 again, but like half of them were different ones. But it wasn't just that, like, if I could get some kind of rub from it, great, or just to show that I'm a nice guy. I kind of wanted to, like, Ontario, like everyone, I'm such a positive person. Like, let's all get along. Even if you don't like this guy and I don't like this guy, we can still be friends. Or even if we disagree about this, we all are acquaintances, colleagues, and stuff like that. But I'm
like that now, but when we were younger, not at all. Like when we were younger, I was ruthless, and I think it bit me in the ass more than it did me any good.
I think that's just passion, though, right? Like it's just because you cared so much. Like I don't know, but yeah, I regretted it by the end, but I'm glad I did it. And I was looking through. Thanks, because you made me that new logo, which I love, by the way. And I'm just waiting on the monetization, and I am going to start dropping some new shows here and there. But so I was going through all the episodes, switching the thumbnail, and I was like, man, some of these are so bad, but some of them are really good. I'm like, I should share this tomorrow. Like some of these are still relevant, but some of them are like reviewing Royal Rumble from 4 years ago. Like who's going to watch that now?
But I mean, that's 365 episodes. Like I mean, there's bound to be, one or two stinkers, like on anything. No one has a perfect season.
Right. And some days I was sick, or like I was so busy, so I had to like squeak it in, like, oh crap, get home and shower, and I got to quickly do an episode.
And was it truly recorded every day? Like,
not I would say 95%, but I moved in July 1st of that year.
Yeah.
So I didn't have internet for a week, so I had to film like 6 episodes. Like I just had them stored as extra because I didn't know how long it would take to get it.
No, smart. No, that's smart. Like everyone, like that's what I try to do once in a while now, is stack up a couple episodes, just so I'm not like scrambling or whatever the case may be.
But because I didn't really have to edit them, because I would just stand there and I'd get my kid to film me and just kind of talk, and then I would listen to it. There was a couple I redid because I was just stuttering or didn't say what I wanted to, or said something stupid. But yeah, I didn't have to do a lot of work with them. It was usually just recorded on my phone and then just upload it. So
yeah. And a lot of time too, and like a lot of those videos, you'd stay in like your more upbeat character for a lot of them too, I found.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. But then
so like that
halfway through the episode, I would switch. I'm like trying to do the like a little bit of an accent and be upbeat, and then all of a sudden I'd get serious and talking like my real voice, and I'd be like, what am I doing? Like,
you just kind of trail off a bit, but like the effort, like I said, most episodes I'd seen, like it was in character, which makes it like even harder in my opinion to like do that every day. Like all right, cameras on, do the switch, cameras on, do the switch. Like
that, it was a lot of that was also I wanted to get better at talking, so I felt it was good practice. Like, we're live, just get out there. And like I said, I did redo a couple, but like I felt it helped me grow because I am so shy. Like, got to get used to talking on camera. Like, even if it wasn't for wrestling, if I wanted to do something else, like now I do the Twitch streaming and stuff like that. But like, it just helps you be a better public speaker. So I don't know. I just felt like that was something good to have on the resume.
Yeah, and it's something that I feel quite a few people enjoyed. I mean, I know from doing this myself, sometimes you see those, that reaction in small bursts, a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you do something that gets a lot of traction, and then they kind of go back and watch the previous ones, and which is cool. Now, are all 365 of those still available?
I deleted one.
You deleted one?
Yeah, but 364 are up there.
364 are up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
and where can people find those 364 episodes?
It's just my YouTube's Elian Habanero, and you could they're all there. There's a playlist for it, and you could go through 1 to 365 or whatever. And like you said, sometimes these things catch on like way past. Or I honestly felt like if I ever died, like then it's like my book, like instant, because I always wanted to write an autobiography, and I'm like, all the good meat and potato stuff is there if you go through it. Like,
that's
I have
awesome,
like my best matches that I liked, and ribs that got played on me, and like, so I tried to cover everything. And yeah, like I did a whole year and I only got 106 subscribers, so that was kind of like I probably would have kept it going if I had seen,
what though, a lot of views. I don't find views and subscribers or listens and subscribers necessarily translate. There's a lot of people, like even myself, there's things I listen to and there's podcasts I listen to that I'm not necessarily subscribed to, which I mean, I probably should, because I'd want that support. But like, I just seek them out because I know when I want to listen to them, or I plan on listening to them in batch, or I don't want notifications. I mean, there's a million reasons. So, I mean, don't get discouraged by necessarily the followers based on that.
No, and like you said, like, I think I got a lot of respect for it, though. People just seen my work ethic and that I was trying to be positive for Ontario. So it did work out because it really helped with my reputation, I think. And I even got a couple bookings. Actually, I got booked on that No Limit show with Pierre, and that was the first time I'd seen you in like 10 years. And I didn't even recognize you at first because you're like, hey.
I remember fucking with you at first because you were like, yo, sorry. Yeah. You were like, so you still doing the weed thing? And I was like, no, dog, I quit. And you fucking looked at me like, what? I'm like, no, man, just kidding.
Yeah, but I didn't even recognize you. But like he said, he was like, I really appreciate what you're doing for Ontario wrestling. I'd like to have you on my show. So
yeah, Pierre's a good dude. Like that was when I did the Death Proof Give Us Your Money show, and that was actually the first time I'd wrestled Death Proof, and I wrestled for the No Limits death match title in the main there.
Yeah, and they did like a inner thing. They promoted a Death Proof show or something.
Yeah, they did a couple things like that. But at the show, like at the Give Us Your Money show, they had the No Limits championships on the line as well as some of the Death Proof ones. So both company titles.
Yeah, and that was great. That was great that we caught up and stuff. And
yeah, and then that's how I got into the No Limits, because Chad wanted to get me in front of Pierre, so that Pierre could see, what I did, because he knew that Pierre planned on running shows, and then I ended up doing the No Limits show with you.
Yeah, because that's like, you should have been in there from the start, right? But it's hard when you have this reputation and like the boys like you, but like no one knows you. It's the same thing with me. Like, just because all the older guys know me and like me doesn't mean anybody knows who the heck I am, right? So
but I mean, on every show you've been on, you get a good reaction from the crowd. You go out there and you give it your all. So I mean, there's that.
Except those No Limit shows, I shit the bed on those shows. But
I swear to God, every match I've probably had in the last like 5 years, something has gone wrong that's gimmick related. Because I mean, they've almost all been gimmick matches, right? Because that's ever since I've come back, everybody's had me doing hardcore again, where for a long time when my kid was born, I got away from that. And then one day Warhead was like, so like, how much hardcore are you willing to do? And I'm like, let's figure this out.
Yes. You give him an inch, he'll take a mile.
Yeah.
He can talk you into some stuff, that guy.
Oh, it doesn't take much.
No,
I'm pretty
it's not
much
hard to
usually
flip you off.
standing on the ledge already, waiting for somebody to come up and just like slap on the back, go.
Here, like there. See, it wasn't my. I wanted to, but I needed someone to blame. I can blame him.
Yeah.
But I wanted to deep down.
Which match was it? You didn't, it wasn't a singles you wrestled, was it?
No, it was like a 3-on-3 or 4-versus-4. And I found out I was on the heel team because nobody knew who I was or my character. So I like didn't know what to do. Because at that point I was like back in the day, I would play like the evil Cuban when I'd wrestle in the States and stuff like that. But like at this point, I was just like so focused on being Elian 24/7 almost.
Yeah, and that like that excited version of Elian. So
yeah,
because that becomes the character. There's some characters that like you have to completely turn off where you're the same person, but like you compose yourself completely different in order to get over as a heel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, you know how they say like, oh, the best gimmicks are the people where it's their real self and turned up. Yeah. That's not my real self, but I do love wrestling and I do get that exciting. I'm just like, I have to portray that. I have to like.
But is it? Out. Does that mean? But isn't that the definition of it? Is it not yourself on 10?
I guess, but like that's
because you got a dying passion for wrestling. You know, you'll do pretty much anything you can to contribute to it. And that's pretty much what your character is. You come out, you're like, you know, I love wrestling. Let's do wrestling. Ring the bell. Like,
yeah,
you're completely enthralled with wrestling. So does that not accurately describe you on 10?
I think to that point, but I think like being outgoing and silly and attracting attention to myself and embarrassing myself. Yeah. I'm not like that in public at all. Like not even when I'm with I guess you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're with the people you're comfortable with.
True.
And yeah. When you turn that switch on and it's Elian Habanero, that crowd are the people you're comfortable with. So I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it works out because, like I said,
so you fit the stereotype.
Something
one of us.
Yes. But like that's how I flipped it too. If something went bad, it's like, well, it's supposed to happen because I'm like this silly, unorthodox. It's all part of the show now, even if it's just a screw up. Or before, I'd be so mad at myself, and I'm like, they probably didn't even notice. They probably just think I did it on purpose.
You know what? I can't remember where I'd seen the post where someone was actually saying, you know, like people shouldn't be so hard in wrestling, like on wrestling when it comes to botches, because like people like give shit for it being choreographed or like fake, if they want to call it that. And it's like, well, I mean, even in real fights, like people try to do stuff and they mess up and fall flat on their face and like that. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that brings a certain aspect of realism to it.
I agree. Cause it's like, if it's, you know, like you can't go, I think it's the way the wrestlers react to it though.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't mean like when people like duck nothing, like that's silly. Like there are some botches that make you look silly, but you know, like if you go for something off the top rope and you slip, like, okay, yeah, he fucked up, but that happens in real competition. Sometimes you fuck up.
Yeah, I think it's how they react though, because if then you go back up and try and do it, then it looks stupid. But if you just go with it and you fuck up and then you sell it like you hurt yourself, then how does anyone know if it wasn't supposed to happen or it was a reversal or whatever?
Yeah. Now, another thing, actually, because I do want to, I gotta get our shit in. I want to talk about this Headbutts 365 that you're doing now.
Oh yeah.
For those that don't know, give them a little summary. Give them the back page.
Well,
not that back page.
My kid got into Twitch streaming, right?
Okay.
Same with the YouTube. He got into it before me, so I'm like, oh, I can do this too. Like he kind of inspired me, and then I also wanted to show him, like, hey, don't give up. So I'm gonna keep doing it. So he was into Twitch, and then I kind of was like, I wanted to start a podcast, or I really wanted to do the Willow Show again.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, why don't I just do like a half an hour podcast a night? And then I thought about this baseball game that I used to play all the time, and it's like a half an hour game. So I'm like, because people want something to see. It's better than sitting in front of the screen. Like if I listened to your podcast and I wasn't watching it and I just wanted to watch the audio, I'd probably play a game and just listen, right? Like I need something for my eyes at the same time. So I was like, I'll just do that. And then I'll just talk about whatever's on my mind every night. And then I made a couple of the guys I knew in the game. And then, I don't know, it seems to catch on. And then this year I started season 2. I made like 16 teams, and I put like all like WWE guys and AEW guys and stuff like that. But it's just fun. I just usually go on at 10 o'clock at night and I do one game.
And it's just shooting. It's not necessarily talking about what's on the screen. It's just talking, and that's, you know, what's there.
Yeah, I get distracted, but I don't even watch the game half the time. I lose because of it, because I'm like, if people come in the chat, I'm just interacting with them, and it's fun. And it's almost like the thing I was saying before with the Willow. I just need to put myself out there, because I'm always like, I used to always convince myself why not to do it. Like, oh, what if it goes bad? Or, oh, you know, people might not like it. Now I'm like, just do it. Just do it. Like,
who gives a shit?
What's the worst? And every night, sometimes I get one person watching, and then some nights I get like 15. And I don't know. It's I like it. I have fun. And I think that's the main thing. If I like doing something, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah,
but
don't worry about if, you know, one doesn't go necessarily right and all that. Like, we literally, you know, participate in a business where there's days we've literally just fell flat on our face. So I mean,
oh man,
dust yourself off.
I mean, I don't like to have regrets, but there's so many things I wish I could do over. But like at this time,
everybody has that. That's natural.
Yeah, I'm still satisfied now with my complete body of work. It's like, yeah, there's some bad ones, but think about all the good times. Like, we want to live our dream. We wanted to be a wrestler, maybe on a small scale, and technically still are if it wasn't for the shutdowns and everything. Well, you did No Ring North. I did there's like an MCW tape in they put on.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So like we're still like, and doing podcasts, like I've been on guest on a couple other ones. So like we can still say we're wrestlers or pretend to be wrestlers till it comes back, right?
Still holding on in 2021.
Yeah, it's almost a blessing. It's like, oh, my body's not getting beat up, but I can still claim to be a wrestler. Right. I actually took some time off right before that happened. PWA switched to 365, and I was telling him, like, I'm in a lot of pain, dude. And he's like, oh, I'm closing the company. Can you just do the final couple shows? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then I didn't do any of those shows in the new year of, well, I guess this is 2020. So it started in January, and then COVID hit around April, but I hadn't done any of those shows because I needed time off. And now I'm like, okay, I've had enough time off.
Yeah. And I was happy to see you do like that, you know, like the no fan type show there, because I thought with PWA, you kind of like hung it up at the end there. Cause like, it just seemed like that's where the match was going. And that's where the mentality was. And then I didn't see you at the start of the PWA 365 stuff. So I was like, oh, fuck. I think Elian's done. But like,
yeah, I tried to be a backstage interviewer for the first couple shows.
I did see that. I
didn't like it because having the people wrestle right in front of me, like rubbing it in my face, plus the interviews were not that great. Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, you're like, don't macho man me, put me in, coach.
Yeah, even though it was my decision, but I'm like,
I guess that's where it's a little bit different.
Like, if I choose to quit smoking, I don't want to sit in a room with people smoking. Like, at least not at first, right?
Yeah.
But so it worked out good. I got my time off, and feel like I'm in decent shape now. Maybe not put on a little bit of weight, but as far as the injuries have healed up.
Yeah, I mean, I put on some COVID weight too, and I mean, I guess that's the only blessing of the lockdowns getting extended is I have more time to make up for lost time.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So how you liking doing this?
You know what?
Reaching out to me saying you were going to start it or whatever, and
yeah, because I mean, you were one of the guys I'd obviously want to have on because you know you do your shows and you give a lot back. So I mean, obviously you're going to be one of the first people that I thought of. But yeah, I've liked doing it so far. It's been a new challenge, you know, learning new things, and you know, and in a world where sometimes you get a super quick response. Sometimes people, it's, you know what, booking for a podcast is just like selling a wrestling ticket sometimes, where they're like, oh yeah, man, let me know. I'm in. And then when it's time to go, they're like, oh yeah, like, get me on the next one. I'm like, okay, all right.
They don't want to help you come up. They want to wait till you come up and then capitalize.
Yeah. Who knows? But I mean, I've gotten some positive feedback so far. I've liked it. And I think doing it once a week for me has been the right thing to do. I thought about it doing it daily, and now like I couldn't imagine doing it daily, especially not with the format that I want to have. I just want to kind of kick back, chill, ask a few questions, see how people have been, what they've basically been up to, especially right now where, the answer isn't necessarily wrestling. And you, like, for example, you, like, not only are you doing like the headbutts thing, you've been doing rap reviews too, right?
Yeah, on my YouTube, because
what made you, like, because that's what's crazy with your YouTube channel is you've got a lot of different content. And I had to, like, it took me a second because I had to, when you were pushing like to get a lot more like subscribes, I was like, okay, like what else? I see a bunch of other stuff on here. And at first I was like, are these just a bunch of random music videos? And then I start clicking things and I'm like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah, I put up a whole bunch of old mixtapes too that I had on old podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what gave me all my subscribers.
Okay.
And then now I tried to get monetized, and they're like, you can't have. I didn't realize this.
Yeah.
You can't have any music, even if you have permission by the artist, because some of those guys are like not known at all, and they're like very rare mixtapes that you don't find. So I put them up, and some of them would message me and be like, "Oh, thanks, man. I just want my music out there." So I had permission, and they didn't have any copyrights, and but you still can't get monetized off it. So I have to delete all the songs that are not my original content, which that's why I haven't started the Willow Show, because I have to reapply again on May 30th.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just have to delete all those rap songs. I started another channel just to move them over there to the people that were loyal to me and stuff like that, because that's where I got a bunch of steam, because those have always been my two passions, rap and wrestling. So I always wanted to do that too, like kind of mix them. And then I even put up some of my old Twitch videos that I record. I put them up. So it's kind of like a rap, wrestling, and video game based channel.
It's basically all your passions, right? It's a passion project.
So I pick songs I like, and I don't do like the reaction videos or review where people play the song and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that," or first time listening. I pick songs that have meant lots to me for like 20 years, and I just talk about them and the meaning behind the lyrics and decipher some of the words for the common folk that might not know what their slang is. I really like doing that.
I get that, because I mean, like, like I used to make music, and it's kind of funny because like even like now we've got like a 16-year-old in the house, and I still try and like keep up with all the language and all that. Like we'll be in the car and she'll say something, and I either know what it means or I have to know soon. Like
yeah, and it's hard for me to get into the new music, but like with all the auto tune and stuff like that. But some of it's really good. Like there's some
of it's
songs
very good. Some of it is very good. Like it takes a lot for me to get into something with auto tune, but if it's done just right, like I can fucks with it.
I'll complain about my kid's song, and then 2 days later I'm singing it under my breath, kind of thing. But that's why I know your show will be successful, because like with wrestling and rap, and now you're getting into doing the graphics stuff. Whenever you got something you like, same with me, you go all in. So like, I like doing things I'm passionate about. So when
the graphics isn't even something I want to excel at. It's just something where I'm like, you know what? I'm on a hot streak, and I got some homies that, deserve a throw. Here you go.
Yeah, man. I didn't ask or anything. All of a sudden you're like, hey, I got a logo for your, I'm like, what? I didn't even know you do this stuff. But
yeah, because I was just sitting around one day watching the show, and I'm like, you know what? This show is missing. And then I was just like, but what? I'm like, what would he use? What would Elian use? And I'm like sitting there like thinking with the initials and all that. And then I was thinking the character, and then I'm like, oh, Cuba. I'm like, oh, but like, what if I do the L's like this and the middle's like the Cuban flag? And I'm like, all right, I think I'm on to something. And then I did it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I need to send this to him.
And it's perfect, because it even says on the title, wrestling is life, life is wrestling. So like it explains it better. I feel like what you're clicking on, where most people would, like the casual people that don't even know me, that would click on it would be like, I don't know what this is, and click on it and be like, but where now it's like, okay. And because I have it written in the description.
It's very descriptive. It's like, hey, this is what it is. These are what the initials stand for.
Yeah.
And I've just gotten into doing a lot of that stuff, and then like just because I caught a good groove of working on it, and I just wanted to keep progressing, and as long as it's fun, and as long as it's keeping people happy, I'll keep doing stuff for people. I don't care.
Yeah, as long as it's not a chore, or like even if it is a chore, if you're doing it for someone and they appreciate you doing it, then it's not so much of a chore, because it's like you feel good about it.
Yeah, and it's been like, because I've done my own stuff. I mean, for those watching the YouTube, version at home, right down here at the bottom of the screen, there's going to be my shirts for sale. You can grab those. Actually, those are all some of the designs that we've kind of talked about right now. And then I've also got No Ring North shirts that are available, the Marvel design, and then for now I will call it the undisclosed design, not knowing if it will be out at the time of this at the time that this recording drops.
So that's why you got to watch the future episodes, right? Like, yeah.
Yep. And
coming up here.
now you're gonna have to watch. People are gonna have to watch future episodes, or just stay in tune to the social media at PD Skillz. Cheap plug.
Yeah, I feel like everything. So you don't half-ass it. Like if you are going to do it, you're going to do it successfully, or you won't put it out there. I feel like your products are always quality, not just graphics, just anything. Like your music back in the day, I don't even remember, but I remember hearing a couple of your songs, but I can't remember for the life of me now. But
yeah, because I mean, music was a long time ago now for me. It's crazy when I think about that, like, because like I'd bounce from doing wrestling to music. I had a hard time doing both at the same time. I literally, the only time I've really ever done them in close proximity or like in the same weekend was the Gathering of the Juggalos, and that wasn't even fully intentional. I was there for music, but the wrestler in me says, the ring's there, pack your bag.
Oh yeah, you can't not on that opportunity.
And I didn't I did during one of their like daytime like tryout shows, I did a match there, and I ended up just being later on in the actual event, the oddball wrestling. I think it was Chambers. I don't know if it was Chris Chambers and Ashley Six there. I feel like it was them in the strap match or lumberjack strap match. It could have been Elgin. I can't remember. It was that was that group that worked together, and they were all booked on it. And a couple of them did the strap match, whatever it was. It was a very intoxicated music festival, so I barely remember the actual event.
But still, man, that's like bucket list thing. Like that's something to tell the grandkids about. To me.
No way, because that's not something to tell the grandkids about. I was obliterated for that show, and what's funny is it's even on the Gathering of the Juggalos documentary. There's the footage of it, and I'm just cranking whoever it was with this belt because it's like I was intoxicated as all fuck because I'd been taking in concerts all night. It wasn't the night that I was performing, so taking in concerts all day and all night. And then I'm like, oh, because our tent was, because we had our our tenting area was in the artist area. We were actually set up right behind where they set up the JCW locker room tent, literally 20 feet away from where our tents were located, our campground.
Oh yeah.
So literally I just went back to my tent to get some beers and stuff, and then I was like, oh, they're getting ready for the wrestling show. I'm like, I mean, I'm already back here, fuck it, just walk over there, say hi to some people. And then one of the guys from the tryout earlier in the day recognized me, and he was like, hey, you want in on this this lumberjack strap match? He's like, you got a belt on? And I think it might have been Corp Robinson that said it. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in, no problem. I probably shouldn't have been, but how can I say no?
Yeah, it might be a thing that you'd always look back and regret. Although if it would have ran horrible, you would have regretted doing it too. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just very jealous of that. And like I said, I was always jealous of you because I wanted to be the weed guy, and then I wanted to be the rap guy. So I live vicariously.
I never really mixed the weed, not the weed. I mixed that with everything. I never really mixed the rap and the wrestling together.
Yeah, but
by technicality, I do on the show. I on this show only because the intro, but that's a very, very brief technicality.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I won't have my lawyers calling you or anything about that. Who else? I know you commented on my post, Ice Cube. Who else was musical that year?
Oh, so yeah, it was. So that was actually at a gathering of the Juggalos. That was the year that Ice Cube did. I'm pretty sure it's the same year Afro Man.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And even though, like, obviously, like, for me, there's only one song only I want to hear from Afro Man. But guess what? It is every bit worth the whole set just to hear that song and the giant
Oh,
crowd's reaction to it.
I would love to be a part of that.
But yeah,
He
Ice Cube
seems
was,
like
I
he'd
don't
be
know
good
if it was
live.
just because it was Ice Cube and I was starstruck at the time, but I mean, like, I like it was, opening night. Ice Cube was performing, like, it was huge. Like, I was like, oh, this is fucking dope. And
No doubt.
he just put on a great show. And like I said, I don't know, to me, if it was just because it was Ice Cube, but like he had his, he had that energy. Like he don't fuck around. Like he put his energy into the set, and that's why, like, I commented on your poster, I was like, top 5 performances. Like, I don't know if it was the weed and liquor, or the fact that I
Yeah.
was just like in awe that not only was it Ice Cube, but like, I'm like, I didn't have to pay to be here. And I'm like, and there's no seating arrangement, I could just barrel to the front. I'm like, fuck, this is it. Yes, like, this is the best.
I'm sure it was a bit of both. I'm sure he's a great performer, but also like he could do no wrong to you in your eyes that night.
Oh
Also.
yeah, no, I'd be fucking hard set to say Ice Cube could do much wrong in my eyes.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, he could rob a grade school. I'd be okay with it.
Did you said you performed, or did you perform
Yeah,
your movie? Oh,
yeah, the
how the
same.
heck
Like,
did
it's,
you
yeah,
get
we were
that
on the
hooked up?
same. We were on the same night. It was almost like, you know what though? I wouldn't even say opening. It was like almost the reverse opening, because it's like a multi-stage festival and all that, and then like a lot of the underground guys are on at like 2 to 4, like in a
Yeah.
real like late night, early morning slot.
Oh, 2 in the
And
morning.
yeah, like 2 a.m. to like 4 a.m. Like the
Jeez.
music festival, like, maybe stops banging from like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning until like maybe like noon. But even before noon, there's like different like events and signings and stuff to do.
How did you get booked on that?
So I was in a group called Academy, and one of the guys in our group, Jay Reno, he was very much into the Wicked Underground scene. Like, that was his bread and butter. And obviously that's where the connect to ICP came. He was in this underground Juggalos competition, and that's what got the eyes on him at first. And then with a lot of the guys that were in that, they did this record called Tunnel Runners. So ICP put out a record called Tunnel Runners, which was a bunch of independent rap artists that did like Wicked Underground music, and it actually went to like #1 in rap at one point on the charts. And
Like ICP
they had all
presents.
the guys that were on that CD perform at the gathering, and then Jay Reno basically fucking big shots. Like, it's usually like when you're on a big show like that, like, you're like maybe lucky if you get your hype man and your girlfriend in, right?
Yeah.
Is like free tickets. He's like, nah, I'm bringing Academy with me. I'm bringing my group. So like, there was like a van of like 6, I want to say 6 of us or 7 of us that went
Wow.
up there, and he was like, no, we all get band passes. It was the
Nice.
most boss shit ever. And he was like, no, I'm gonna perform some tracks that you guys are like, I want to perform tracks that you guys are on and bring you guys with me and make it a big group scene instead of just hype men and all that. I might as well have my, my group with me and, share that shine, which was a real fucking dope move of them and resulted in one of the best weekends ever.
No doubt. So if one of us comes up, we're all coming up together. That's
Yeah.
got mad respect for that.
Yeah. And he still makes, well, he actually just said, but I mean, retiring from rap is like retiring from wrestling. He just said he did his last track recently, but he still does produce beats. It's for anybody looking, it's Jay Reno beats by Jay Reno, Bunker Beats. he's gotten really, really good over the years. He's someone that like I listened to the first beats that he made and rapped on some of the first beats that he made, and now he's just putting out stellar stuff. And he still does it, and he still helps people out that are close to him or that he thinks deserve it. Like he'll throw that bone to still to this day. So I mean, that's awesome.
And sorry, like I feel like I'm trying to interview you, but like you got so many great stories too, and I'm just fascinated by that.
Oh no, it's what, and that's one of the things that like I like is we both like our wrestling, we both like our rap and all that. And like you've been doing so many of those shows like that are like rap oriented now, like so many like your episodes where you're doing spotlights and all that, like where I don't think I've even grasped the idea. Who would you say is like your top? Do you have a top one, or like is top 5 easier?
Favorite rappers?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Styles P, without a doubt.
Easy? Okay, so it is an easy number one.
Absolutely. Styles P is my number one. My top 5 fluctuates here and there, but it's always, at least since 2002, it's been Styles P. And like, he may not make the best songs to everybody, but he always resonated with me, and I felt like he was always speaking to me. And and his first album, A Gangster and a Gentleman, is my favorite album. And then I'm just really, really loyal. And he always made the biggest impression on me, I think, what it was.
Yeah. And then, like, who would round out the rest of the top 5, like, right now?
Oh, geez. I'm more of the punchline guy. So I like you're gonna laugh at me. Like I like Fabulous and Cassidy and Lloyd Banks and I really like Juvenile. I feel he never got the credit. Everyone says Lil Wayne. To me, Juvenile was way better because those are the guys that got me into. Yeah.
You know what? No, you had me up until Juvenile, and then I was like, oh, or what? And then you were like Lil Wayne. I was like, I don't even like his substitute.
Yeah, it was just because when I was like 16, growing up in BC, there was a lot of like natives there, and we were West Coast, so we were all Tupac, and then Tupac died, so I stopped listening to rap for a while, and then I got into Juvenile. And that
West Coast Canada, Tupac, that's amazing. Yeah, because I mean, I being from Windsor, it's like you either like you might like some stuff from East Coast, you might like some stuff from West Coast, but like you're right across from Detroit, you got Motown, the Midwest, so like. It's funny for me, like, because I'm right there, but it's funny, like, for me to hear that, like, in, West Coast, like, in West Coast in Canada, people are like, yeah, Tupac, man, West Coast.
Yeah, like, if my friends found out I listened to Biggie, they would hate me. Like, it was big deal to them. They kind of felt like they were, like, similar, and they would dress similar to Tupac. And that's all we would listen to and smoke weed in high school and stuff like that. Just Tupac. So... like I said, so I stopped listening. God bless the
Midwest, because I was allowed to listen to both.
Yeah, I went back and I got into everything like that, but it's more of a loyalty thing. I'm not saying these are the best guys. I think it's just like my favorites for personal reasons, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah,
but if you want me to say the best rappers, like I'm kind of more like I really like AZ and Corrupt and like those kind of guys. I would say are like the ones that I would say, hey, these guys are like right up there with the best guys to me, but they're not my favorites. They're up there.
Yeah. For me, like 100. For me, I can even say like I don't necessarily think my favorites are the best. Like I'd be hard pressed to say these are the top like 5 rappers of all time, but like for favorites, I'm still like. Obviously, I mean, no secret, I come out to his music forever. I like Eminem, Dr. Dre, Exhibit, Ice Cube, those are the types of artists I've always liked, just that, that generation of artists. But I mean, even though, I love Eminem and I think he took Machine Gun to the cleaners, like before he went to what he is now, I liked Machine Gun Kelly's rap music. I don't like his, new punk stuff, but
he's pretty good. And he was one of the best ones that ever went against Eminem. Like he kind of held his own a little bit.
He did really good. He did as best as you can trying the impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta respect him. Like it was.
He went for it. Like I was like, oh, you asked for it. No, like no, like I thought, and that's like because I can still watch. Like I can listen to this song and go, the only thing that sucks about this is knowing what's going to happen to you next.
Yeah.
When
It's sad.
when Machine Gun put out the full song, I was like, when he put out like Rap Devil, I was like, okay, like that is a really dope song that probably would have clean KO'd anybody else.
Probably. And he did it so fast because like the whole thing was coming out where Eminem was mad about him saying something about his daughter, and then it was like the next day. So the props on that. But yeah, I enjoyed that whole thing, the whole exchange between the two of them.
Yeah, I love when other entertainment sources are very similar to wrestling in their drama and all that.
Yeah, because that was the best Eminem era when he was going at everything.
It's
right?
like they're just like rhyming promos.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably why I like them both so much. It's like there's a lot of similarities between wrestling.
Yeah, there it is. This motherfucker cut a musical on me, and now I gotta cut a musical on him.
I even feel like a lot of those guys talking that street shit didn't live it quite as much. Like they're putting on personas, just
a lot of guys now.
Oh yeah, more now.
Yeah, I mean that always comes out. I mean, till they get their snitch card pulled or whatever the case is, and I laugh.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's like wrestling. That's I always like the drama because back then, like I said,
entertainers, they're characters, they're personas. That's hilarious.
Like a lot of people say Biggie's better than Tupac, but it was just a loyalty thing back then. Like it was the same as wrestling. Like, oh, this guy may be a better wrestler, but I like this guy, so I want him to win or whatever. There is a lot of similarities, I find.
Yeah.
It's both art too, and there's different ways. Like there's so many different kinds of rap and so many different kinds of wrestling. The variety and
definitely. And everybody likes different stuff. Like I get that.
I'm just trying to say that it's similarities, but then I don't actually have any examples.
But they are very similar. And I mean, a lot of forms of entertainment, you could find, similarities like that.
Thank you, because I boxed myself in that corner there.
It's okay. I got you. I won't let you fall down.
Thank you for saving me.
So what podcast, what projects do you got coming up now? Like, because you said something about reviving the Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling, which I will forever call by the full name, because if I try to say the acronym, I'll mess it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can say the WILLIW show, but I can't I'd have to actually pull up a piece of paper and be like, the Willow Show. There it is.
Thank you. And yeah, a lot of people thought it was like Willow, but it's Willow, but it's Willow, but it's like if you say it fast enough, it sounds the same. And then if you search for it on YouTube, it'll come up Willow, and then you're like, you actually have to put no, I meant this.
Yeah. I think about that.
I don't know. I keep changing my mind on that. Like I am gonna do it. Plus, I just want to wait till I get monetized. If I do get monetized, if I don't, I'm still gonna do it. But I keep changing my mind of what I want to do with it. And I'm like, you know what? I should just do all these ideas. Like one episode is this.
It should just be the Alien. It should just be the Alien 364 podcast.
Yes. But I
want that way you can continue the trend and you can delete one episode a year.
Oh, I'm just glad you didn't ask me what it was.
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know until after I'm done recording.
But I think I will keep it as Willow, because then people can go back. So if it ever does catch on, then it's all there. But I feel like I'll just do different things. Like I have this idea, and I may not want to do an episode a day. I might want to just do one a week, or maybe I'll do 2 a week if they're good ideas. I want to interview people, but I also want to capitalize on hot trending topics as well. So I don't really like to do deaths, because I hate when people capitalize off deaths, but if there's any kind of drama going on between AEW and WWE, and I don't even follow that stuff, but I want to start.
Understandable.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always
getting into that. And then just different ideas I've had, and I'm like, you know what, why not try all of them and see what sticks? So, but I don't know how to start. I keep changing my mind of how I'm going to reboot it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, even with me, like, there's no, like, I mean, so far that, the show's followed a set format, but like, there's other things I want to do. There's days that I'm going to want to review stuff and just bring someone on, for the purpose of reviewing a show that, like, maybe garnered a lot of attention, or when things, come back to normal in Ontario, like maybe I want to do some on location stuff. Like, I even was talking about before things for this weekend got canceled, I was going to do like a podcast. I thought about doing one on the road.
Yeah.
Just hooking all the equipment up in the car and recording into the road. I don't know that I'd necessarily, unless I could hook up some sort of camera on the dash, I don't know that I'd necessarily do a video version.
You could, though, because I know people that do it, but I'm not the one to ask how. But
yeah, I'm not too big of a
stupid YouTube food reviews where they eat in their car and they have the cameras up there.
But that's the thing that sucks too, is I wouldn't be able to smoke on the episode, because that's like, hey guys, watch me commit a crime. This is the PD Skillz show.
That's true. That's what when you get big enough, you'll have your own driver do it in the back of your limo or whatever, right?
It'll still be illegal to have it in the car, though.
Yeah. Can't you?
But actually, you know what? No, by the time, no, it won't. Because by the time I'm famous, I mean, fuck, who knows what'll be illegal?
I don't know. I thought if you had a limousine and a chauffeur, you could smoke in the back.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if that's the same rules that apply to alcohol. I don't know even know what the legalities behind that are. I've never looked into it. I mean, obviously, I've forever seen people getting wasted in the back of a limo, and I've done it too, but I've never really known what the legalities behind it are.
Yeah, and I'm sure it varies province to province, state to state, region to region at this point. But yeah, it'd be nice to see it expand and stuff, and I really hope it catches on too. And then, and like if some, you have shows coming on, and you could do storylines or just promote upcoming shows and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And that's what'll be nice too, is because right now it's really hard when I'm like, hey, like you don't have any like people don't have shows to plug. So, and like I want to provide that opportunity to people, like, yo, what shows you got going on, like for whoever's listening, like, but right now we're still at a standstill. So, a lot of it is, talking about people's passion projects, or, sometimes a little bit of, the history, but, I'm not here to ask the history of Elian. I've got a pretty good idea of it. And if you guys are interested in it, you could find it on YouTube on Elian Habanero's channel. You can subscribe to that, and you can catch Wrestling is Life, Life is Wrestling, where, you're going to catch all that history. That's why today is not a history lesson.
That's why it's good too. We're just having a conversation. Like I was asking you questions too. And like, plus a lot of our matches started coming out. That's when we really started talking too, when on some of those PWX matches I got my hands on and stuff. And
it's like, holy shit. Like these are the good old days.
There's some people that have every DVD of it. I can't remember who, not Jesse or Paul, but I remember
Jesse. Jesse has all the PWX.
Oh, there you go.
Remember we were trying to bargain to get some temporary access to them. Because I even told him, I'm like, I will pay you to copy every single one of them. But he said his setup right now can't copy. But I mean,
he doesn't want to give.
If that's changed and you're listening, Jesse, I love you, brother. Just hook it up, man. We just want that footage.
He just doesn't want to get rid of the originals.
I understand. I wouldn't let go of it. Actually, like I've been in contact with Jay recently, and he told me if I get him some dates, he can get me some footage.
Really? What about does he still do that? He switched the promotion to a different
name. He sold that, the CCW thing.
Right, Classic Champion. Oh, he's not involved in that anymore?
No.
Oh, he was always really nice to me, giving me opportunities when I started in 2004 or 2000, but 2004 I was still a new guy. He put me on shows and let me learn for some good guys, and I have nothing bad to say again about him. He was always a really nice guy. And PWX was awesome.
Oh, I like the guy. I can say bad things about him. He can say bad things about me. I mean, that's why I didn't work for like CCW very much when it became CCW. But I mean, that's just wrestling. Like, fuck. Yeah. I still think he's he's a good dude.
And I never knew him.
Hooked me up with some great opportunities. I mean, obviously, like I said, there's times we both thought each other were pricks. I mean, but that's business.
Yeah, and I only really knew him from the promoter aspect. I never hung out with him or talked to him, but I am very grateful for him for what he did for me.
Yeah, like he he hooked a lot of people up, like when they were just starting too. Like,
yeah, and having big names coming in, and like some of the guys were like some backyard guys and stuff that ended up being really awesome wrestlers, or maybe they already were and stuff, but just giving them the platform to show it, right?
Unless their name's Chaos. If you're listening out there again, Chaos, fuck you.
What? Did you still talk to that guy?
No, fuck him.
I just remember he had a couple crazy matches.
No, I've actually talked to him recently, and that's why that's why I'm laughing, because I jokingly said fuck Chaos on Good Brother Morning, and then he hit me up. He's like, and this was like the first thing he's ever said to me in years. He's like, fuck Chaos. Like, whoa, is that any way to treat a fellow ex-divisioner? LOL. And then like I was a dick about it. I'm like, because like for whatever reason, I'm sure we had beef back in the day. We weren't friends on Facebook anymore, but the message was sitting in like message request mode. And one of our mutual friends had asked me if I'd read it. And I was like, yeah, I've totally read it, but I'm going to fucking let him stew all day.
Yes. Man, that guy was one of the guys that had a lot of potential coming out PWX, because he was a bit taller than some of the guys, and he was very willing. He did some crazy ladder matches and stuff.
Yeah, he had a lot of fucking potential. Fucking
the ladies liked him. They did.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I used to laugh because my ex used to be like, "Hey, he's alright," but that's like she knew him well, right? Because like me and him used to fucking hang around the same people out in Tilsonburg and all that.
Yes,
because I actually moved there for a while when PWX had first started. I had moved to I had moved to Tilsonburg, and then Chaos was living in Oakville, but we hung out with some of the same guys, and like so like we go to camping trips together. We go pick Chaos up just to hang in Tilsonburg for the weekend, maybe before a show or for just to fucking chill.
Cool, man. Well, that's kind of good that you dissed them and you guys got back in touch.
Oh, I was because they did a podcast called the Dillmania podcast, and
I know him.
Yeah, they did that podcast, and he had said that well, it wasn't Chaos that said it. I don't know if you remember some of the like PWX super fans, like Clayton Chester.
Maybe not. I probably, if I saw their face, probably recognize.
Yeah. So one of the guys that were like one of the super fans was a really good friend of mine in Chaos's, Chester, Josh, and now him and Chaos do a podcast together. So they were doing the Dillmania podcast, and so Chester, Josh is like, the PD Skillz show, the most racist, homophobic, podcast, and like.
Oh,
yeah, no, I laughed because I laughed. I said the same thing to him. I was like, because he just told me shots fired, and I'm like, oh, now I gotta listen to the podcast. I'm like, no, I'll take it. It's funny.
Yeah.
If it's said as a joke, and I mean, you could tell it came off that way. And then when I was on Good Brother Morning, that's what I had said, the fuck Chaos thing. But I got my glasses on and I'm laughing the whole time. I'm a fucking arrogant prick half the time anyways about it. So he thought I was being legitimate.
You're gonna get yours back in though. Yeah, you waited.
Yeah. That's why I do that. It's just funny.
Your opportunity, you take it.
Yeah, 100%. You gotta take those opportunities. Plus, it's fun. Like you said, it been reach out to me, so I mean, it was cool to reconnect and be like, "Hey, what's up, fuckhead?"
And now they're getting the rub now. We're talking about them for 5 minutes.
There you go. They're getting the shine. You guys are welcome. And I actually remember the name of their podcast because I didn't remember before. It's Stegosaurus Podcast. Really fucking hard to find. Chaos. Get your fucking shit in more avenues, because right now you are only in one spot and it's hard to find, and you need to get people to listen.
Yeah.
Or they'll have no choice but to listen to me instead. They'll have to listen to me instead until he does something about it. And I'll say, fuck Chaos, until he puts his show in more spots.
Well, I'll say it too. Fuck Chaos. Like, if I want to see dinosaur bones, I want to go to the museum. I don't want to have to dig for them myself. Like,
see, there you go.
Yeah.
And he actually did a Chaos Theory podcast too.
Oh, like, is it wrestling themed or?
Yeah, related to the wrestling and all that.
Oh, does he still wrestle?
No. He had medical issues and shit like that. So like he wasn't wrestling. He's good now. He's good now. He plays baseball.
Oh man, I love hearing about all these old. It's like deja vu going back in time. That's why it's so great to talk with you because, like, man, we have a lot of history, even though there's gaps
and I mean,
in there.
I think it's funny when you think about it because I think out of like the PWX guys, like that were like quote unquote PWX originals, the most famous out of all of them or us was fucking JC,
the ref. He as a ref too, not even as
radio personality.
Yeah, and he was doing some big stuff for like Smash Wrestling or whatever it was, right? Where he was reffing some big names and stuff. I always got along
very involved with Smash Wrestling though, but I love seeing JC out there succeeding, winning, and like the radio stuff's awesome.
Yeah, I haven't listened to any of the radio stuff, but
well, I mean, we're a little bit. I mean, I guess it's the internet age, so we don't really have much excuses. But like, I just always like watch his shenanigans like before the pandemic happened when he could go into the store and go into stores and do interviews places or whatever he had going on.
Oh, I've always liked him, and I'm glad he found success for sure, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's got wonderful wife, beautiful kids, fucking doing his radio gig that he wanted to do, still comes back and gets to be involved in wrestling. So yeah.
Why hasn't he done the show, or has he done the show?
Not yet.
Well, I want to hear an episode with him.
I haven't reached out to him about a show yet. I mean, that would be it'll definitely be an interesting podcast. I almost feel like I'd have to talk to him for an hour before the podcast just so we can get all like our like totally inappropriate for public ears comments out of the way.
maybe, and hopefully I didn't stir up anything. Like if you guys don't want to do it together, I'm like,
no. JC is someone I'd love to put on the podcast. There's so many people like that I would want to get to, even though say fuck Chaos. I'd love to have Chaos on. Except I'd want to only in gimmick though. Only in gimmick. I'd be like, listen, Chaos, you come on the show and we're gonna shoot on each other for a fucking hour, and you better mean every word of it.
And have JC as the ref, or even Jay McDonald would probably be a very entertaining podcast, just to see what he thought of you back when he first met you and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we met before our pro wrestling endeavors, so I mean, I knew him for a little bit. Yeah, but like he was living in Tillsonburg, I was living in Windsor, so at the time.
I think that's what the great thing is. You got all these old people you can have, and you're still relevant now doing the no ring North thing. Like you got so many possibilities to do.
But I mean, me and Jay could tell some stories probably too, like because I mean, we've got like stories everywhere from I mean, all wrestling related, but I mean from in the ring to in the bars to in the courtroom. Like,
oh
yeah. We've got courtroom stuff, all kinds of like crazy stuff.
Man, that'd be a really good episode, as they all have been.
Yeah, do you remember when
I haven't seen all of them.
Do you remember when PWX's ring got seized?
No, I don't think so. I only wrestled it really for the 1 year.
Oh, well, yeah, it was when they were insane. Well, no, I mean it like it was. I didn't mean because you'd have been there. I meant because it was like Ontario Indy and all that. It was pretty well documented. In like St. Thomas, the cops showed up and took the ring not took the ring with them, but someone showed up laying claim to the ring.
Oh, really?
And had a court order to take it.
I'm sure I had to have heard it because I was in that bubble back then, so I'm sure. But it didn't ring a bell to me initially, so.
Yeah, it was. It was a fucked up situation that like didn't escalate to be as cool as like I was hoping it would, but like it was crazy.
Man, so some guy showed up and said that's my ring, but he wouldn't let you finish the show. It's like, here,
so this dude basically gave him a ring, and wanted to train, and I wasn't there. I don't know what the conversation was. So I don't know if the agreement was he was going to be on shows. I don't know if the agreement was that he was getting training. All I knew is this guy was giving Jay a ring. I don't know what the rest of the details were. but it was one of those, he had a wrestling ring, I'll give it to you, and I expect my back scratched too. And the ring was a fucking piece of garbage.
Was that like the one we wrestled in all the time?
No, that was their original build with the fucking giant, with the high up and weirdly spaced ropes and the big giant ring posts. Do you remember those? The like cannon ring posts?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was the original. That was the original PWX ring. And then after that, that's when that guy gave them the ring. But like I said, the ring was absolute piece of shit. The only things we used off it were some of the turnbuckle hardware and the ring posts. And then the rest of it was completely refabricated.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and then when whatever back scratch that he was expecting didn't come his way, he went and got a court order to repossess the ring, which at the time was literally
of his ring now.
Yeah, like if anything was his, they were the corner posts. But this was like over a year later. Like, fuck's your problem, man?
Yeah, that just shouldn't have come to that point. Come on, guy. Someone got bitter.
So yeah, Jay McDonald fucking had me go to court with him.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, you guys kept running shows, so it must have worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I actually had helped do some of the weld work and all that on the refab on the ring.
What don't you do? I remember talking to you, we were trying to find somebody on the internet, and you found them, and you like somehow within a day found, who was that? Was that Willie Allen? Or no?
Yeah, yes, it was Willie Allen.
Yeah, and you like somehow did this detective work, and you weld.
I'm actually low-key well known for my detective work.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
PD, private detective.
Yeah, private detective Skillz show.
Right.
Perfectly desirable Skillz show. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something for the PD for our podcast.
There's been a million things that have been thrown around. Warhead will always do a play on the PD thing, like when he's like, "Oh, designed by PD Skillz," and then he put like photo design for the PD, and he does shit like that all the time to me.
Yes. Well, it's right.
The worst but best will always be fucking when Cody Deaner got me with his interview.
What did he say?
When he was like, "PD, what's that stand for? Pillsbury Doughboy."
Oh, done. That's a good one.
Yeah. I got eaten alive by that chant for a while.
Oh man. Yeah, Deaner.
But it was good. It was good heat. He was good. I like Deaner. Like, he was a good influence on me back then.
Yeah,
he'd be pissed to know that like I don't listen to any of it now, because like obviously I'm doing all kinds of stupid hardcore shit again and back on my bullshit, so to speak. But he taught me a lot back then. He taught me a lot about working, so I fucking owe a lot to that guy.
Yeah, man. But who cares? Do it your way now. I think we both live long enough now that.
And that's what it was. Is I listened back then and I learned a lot of stuff, and now it's like, okay, I got that, but like now I want to do the shit that I found fun again.
Yeah, because at this point, why are we doing it if we're not having fun? Really?
Yeah, 100%.
We're not making money or anything. Like, and even if we did, would you want to make money for doing it your way or doing it somebody else's way, kind of thing?
Yeah. So when 365 comes back in, you're going to so you're looking to continue like wrestling then, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine I'd have a full schedule, but I could probably go once a month or something.
Yeah, fair enough. And I mean, for some people that's a full schedule. So I mean,
yeah,
if that's if that's the the schedule you want to wrestle on, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't want to retire because, like, even if I just need a year off.
No, wrestlers don't retire.
Exactly. So it's like, might get.
I mean, obviously there might be exceptions to the rule, but I just say wrestlers don't retire. They say they do, but I mean they don't.
Well, a lot of people retired because of COVID. They're like, "Well, I'm retiring." Well, I said, "Well, it's easy when there's no shows," but like, if someone said, "Hey, we want to do a show next weekend," they'd probably unretire real quick. But
100%.
But it's a good reason too, because for me, like, when I talk to people at my day job and stuff like that, and it's like, "Oh, why aren't you wrestling?" Oh, because of COVID. So it's a great excuse. It's not my fault that.
But I mean, hopefully soon enough. I mean, whether it be by way of vaccine or whatever other methods we've got put in place, hopefully we get people back together for wrestling soon. But in the meantime, I mean, we've got our passion projects to keep us sane and keep us alive. Being said, can you hit us up with some of them plugs for Elian Habanero?
Everything's Elian Habanero, like my YouTube, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitch. It's all just Elian.
But I mean,
Habanero.
what are we gonna find where, man? Like, tell us where to go for what?
Well,
what's on
YouTube,
Twitch? What am I gonna get on Twitch? What am I gonna get out of the YouTube?
On the Twitch, I just do the baseball, half an hour podcast every night. Just interact with people, and then if it's a boring night, I'll just call the baseball game. If something happened in wrestling or my personal life, I'll talk about that. And then just depending on who comes into chat, and we gamble on it too. It's fun. Entertainment purposes only gambling, so that makes it really fun. So people will bet on the games, and then if they win enough points, they can like get their person in the game or make a team. Or like one guy switched my jersey color because he wanted me to have a different color. So I do that kind of thing where it makes it more interactive. Or like, I don't know. So people will bet, and like they're like, "Oh, I bet 500 you're gonna lose," and then I'm winning. Then they'll like, "Hey, well, I'll cash in like 100 of my points to have you switch your pitcher in the first inning or something like that." So it just makes it more fun. Like I'm not just playing it for me. I'm like can play it for other people. So that's usually 10 p.m. Eastern time, around there. And it's just half an hour a night. You can watch all the replays are still up on my channel. Like if you missed the one before, I think they stay up for 2 weeks. So like you can always go back the last 2 weeks, because I got a couple friends that just listen to the audio. They don't want to watch a baseball arcade game.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten into the Twitch thing yet. Like I've signed up for it. I imagine if I've got the hang of this, like I'm only a couple steps away, but that's definitely something I'd love to get into.
It's really easy for me because it's through Xbox, and I just plug my controller into the Xbox, and then I downloaded the Twitch app, and I have like the Xbox Connect camera.
Okay.
So you just hit record, and then you switch to the game, and then it's like, boom, everyone can hear me through the Xbox and see me through the Xbox. So it's just really, really easy for me. So I do that. Yeah, Elian Habanero. That's pretty much all I do on there. Once in a while, me and my kid will play a game together, like on a weekend or something, but not very often. But I really enjoy doing that. And so if anyone could follow me or whatever, that's great too. But I have like a loyal following of between like 3 to 9 people. And that's almost good enough for me, because some of the stories I tell, if I keep telling those stories, and if I get 50 viewers, I might not want to tell them, because I'll tell them about like me trying to date women and my work. And some of the people
you're like, you know what? I only got a couple listeners today, but I was talking about striking out, so it ain't so bad.
Yes, pretty much. I call them fishing stories. We don't have a lot of female guests or listeners. So yeah,
I get you.
There's that. And then YouTube, if you type in Elian, I have the Willow Show, and then I do put those 365 podcasts up, but I've only put 35. But like I have 250 recorded, because a baseball season is 162 games. Yeah. And now I'm like 70 games into season 2. So I've probably got like 250, but I put up 35 of them. So on my YouTube, you could find that, or the Willow Show, as you spoke of, and just go to Elian Habanero, click on the channel. If you go to playlist, it has like all the stuff, like it'll have all the Headbutts podcast together, all the Willow Show. And like we were talking about those rap videos I do, it's called Rap Analysis Series. And they're like, I think I've done 29 episodes, and they're all lumped together there. So yeah, if you want to do any of that, that's great. And if not, just make sure you give PD Skillz a follow too, man. Like I was one of your first subscribers.
And that's much appreciated. And hopefully we grab a couple more for this episode. And for those listening, watching, wherever, it's at PD Skillz Show, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all at PD Skillz Show. Grab yourself a t-shirt. You can message me directly to get one of those. We've actually got a No Ring North t-shirt or two. Support the boys. Keep us putting out pandemic material. Until then, we're going to wrap it up for this episode. So I want to thank you, Elian. I definitely appreciate you coming out for episode 9 of the PD Skillz Show. Glad to see you doing your thing, and glad to see you up and well. So thank you, brother.
Thank you so much, man. I had a great time, and I wanted to be on here. And when this drops, I'll obviously talk about it all. That's all I'll talk about that night on my Twitch thing. And one love, man. I've always had a lot of respect for you, and I'm just glad you shown it back too. And
Absolutely, and it's mutual. So again, guys, Elian Habanero, and as always, Petey Skillz, high as fuck, and we're out. Peace.
peace. Episode 9, Cuba.